a major source of John's tentativeness is his awareness that Lila can and is probably inclined to leave him at any moment. And he's sort of always reckoning with that himself. So her
Mm.
own wrestle to stay present in the relationship because of what she's experienced in the past in terms of how easily that can be lost. The fact that John similarly feels like he stands to lose something
Mm.
with her. I think we don't like to talk about God that way as though God like stands to lose something if God were to lose us. But I don't think you can make sense of the love of God for God's people any other way other than to say God stands to lose something. And if we aren't willing to say that, then what happens in Hosea, who God becomes then when we read Hosea, is a deity that's demanding faithfulness. And that faithfulness is an end in itself. But I think reading alongside Lila and being willing to venture that God wants something, needs something from us, becomes vulnerable to us in relationship with us, is that God doesn't desire our faithfulness as an end in itself, but God desires us. And
Mm.
therefore, that relationship from both sides is marked with some real, not just emotion, but like existential kind of anxiety might
Crisis.
not be the right word. Yeah, just like intensity. That, of course,
Yeah.
this is a highly charged relationship because both parties are invested in one another and vulnerable to one another. And yeah, I love how this depiction of the way their relationship unfolds is really different than like, I'm going to be a hater here, but the way that the book Redeeming Love sort of riffs on Hosea. Because as much as John wants something from Lila, what he wants from her is the chance to give to her. So it's not an extractive, self centered kind of wanting of her. And I think that's a helpful kind of framework for holding God's desire for Israel, jealousy over Israel, isn't that God's demanding faithfulness, again, as an end in itself, but that God wants to give to Israel, but that requires Israel's consent and participation. And to whatever extent Israel is flirting with receiving what it needs from other neighboring powers, that is hurtful to God because God's will to give to them is refused.